Now you will see the slides clearly. Prachi Builder. All of you see the slides clearly? We will wait for 2 minutes for other participants to join this meeting. Okay, so let's start with the topic. So today's topic is deductive and inductive economics. As we already discussed for 10 minutes before the network connectivity failure. So basically, these two are the methods of reasoning. First is deductive method, and the second is inductive methods. So these two are the forms of logic that helps to establish the truth, and the reasoning or the logical part are basically of two types. First is prepositional logic, and the second is predicate logic. Uh, as you already told that you never studied the logic, so the logic part has been covered in your discrete mathematics subject, which you will going to study in your fourth semester, and this subject is also in your gate exam. So moving on to the next slide. So first we will going to study the deductive method of economics. The deduction means reasoning or inference from general to particular or from universal to individual. For an example, there are two premises are given. In the first premises, every A is B, which is followed by the other premises, this C is A. From both the premises, we conclude that this C is B. So this type of questions are dealt with deductive method. So syllogism, as you already know, the syllogism questions are there in your objective exams or in your reasoning. In exams where reasoning is there, so syllogism questions are there, which is also based on the deductive reasoning to make sure the argument is valid or not. So according to Bacon, he described the deduction as descending process, means moving backward, a descending process in which we proceed from general principle to its consequences, means from general principle to the individual. The deductive method derives new conclusions from fundamental assumptions or from truth established by other methods. So this is basically the definition and the example of deduction method. Now my voice is clear to all of you. Just write in the chat box. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. Now steps of deductive method. So there are 4 steps of deductive method. First is selecting the problem. Then the second is the formulation of assumption on the basis of which the problem is to be explored. The third step is the formulation of hypothesis through the process of logical reasoning whereby inferences are drawn. As I know, these terms are relatively new to you, but we will going to study in detail in the next slides. So the first step is selecting the problem. Then the second step is formulation of assumption. Then the third step is formulation of hypothesis. And the fourth step is verifying the hypothesis. Whatever hypothesis we take in solving that problem, we need to verify that hypothesis at the end. Now we will going to discuss each step in detail in the next slide. Now the first is selecting the problem. First step is selecting the problem. So according to the first step, the problem which an investigator selects for inquiry must be stated clearly. Means the problem must be clearly stated in documents. It may be very wide, like poverty, unemployment, inflation, etc., or narrow, relating to an industry. As we already studied, there are 2 forms of economics. One is microeconomics, which deals with the narrow concepts, narrow issues, and other is macroeconomics, which deals with the major issues like poverty, unemployment, inflation. So in the step of selecting the problem, we need to select the problem, whether the problem is of minor issue, like in microeconomics, or the problem is from the macroeconomics. The narrower the problem, the better it would be to conduct the inquiry. Now the second step is formulating assumptions. In this step, the framing of assumptions which are basis of hypothesis. So here we formulate the assumptions. To be fruitful for inquiry, the assumptions must be general. So as you already know, before solving some problems in mathematics, just for an example, like mathematical induction problem, you need to take first the assumption, and after that you need to solve the problem, and in the end you need to just write the assumption we are getting is basically the contradiction we are getting is based on the assumption. So in the same way, here also we need to take some assumption before solving the problem, or these assumptions form the basis for the hypothesis, which is the third step for solving the problem. So in any economic inquiry, more than one set of assumptions should be made in terms of which a hypothesis may be formulated. So just we are assuming the some concepts before solving the problem. It is not clear to us that assumptions are valid or not. We are taking some assumptions according to the problem. Now moving on to the third step. The third step is formulating hypothesis. So on the basis of logical reasoning, whereby conclusions are drawn from the propositions, this is done through logical deductions. So for example, as we already discussed in our previous slide, as an example for deductive method, if relationships P and Q all exist, like the premises, as we already discussed, that if all A are B and C is B, then it derives that A is C. So in the same way, if relationships P and Q all exist, then this necessarily implies that relationship R exists as well. So this type of hypothesis we can deduce from the assumptions. If P and Q conditions are fulfilled, then it can gives us the conclusion that relationship R is also fulfilled. So the fourth step is testing and verifying the hypothesis. So in the next step, we need to test whether the hypothesis we got are correct or not. So we need to test and verify this hypothesis. For this purpose, economists now use statistical and econometric methods. Verification consists in confirming whether the hypothesis is in agreement with facts. A hypothesis is true or not. Hypothesis can be true or false, can be verified by observation and experiments. So by using two methods, observation and experiments, we can finally conclude that, finally test and verify that the hypothesis we take in the third step is basically true or false. So these are the four steps through which deductive method can be followed. All of you are getting it? Just write in the chat box. Okay. So are there any more participants waiting in the lobby? I am just checking it. Okay. So moving on to the next topic. Now the next topic is merits of deductive method. So what are the advantages of this method? So first is this method is very simple. So because it is analytical, it involves abstraction and simplifies a complex problem by dividing it into its component parts. So with the use of this method, a big problem can be reduced to small parts. So further hypothetical conditions are so chosen so to make the problem very simple, and then inferences are deduced from them. So in order to solve the problem, we need to divide a big problem into small parts. So for this, by using this property, this method is very simple. Now the second is this second merit is this is universal method. So the deductive method helps in drawing inferences which are of universal validity, because they are based on general principles such as law of diminishing returns. So this is one of an important law which we will going to study in the next unit. So the second merit is it is universal method. The third merit is powerful. So it is a powerful method of analysis for deducing conclusions from certain facts. As we already see in the example, certain premises are given, and based on those premises, we need to conclude. So, as pointed out by economist Grains, the method of deduction is incomparable. Uh, when conducted under proper checks, the most powerful instrument of discovery ever handled effectively by human intelligence. So, uh, this is very powerful. So, based on the premises, we will going to conclude it. So that by doing this, this method is very powerful because we are just following the premises. Whatever is said in the premises, we will going to conclude in the result. Now, the fourth merit is exact. The use of statistics, mathematics, and econometrics in deduction brings exactness and clarity in economic analysis. The mathematically trained economist is able to deduce inferences in a short time and make analogies with other generalizations and theories. So these results are based on statistics, mathematics, and econometrics. So that by doing this, more exact result will be found in deductive methods. So these are some of the merits of deductive method. So first is it is simple, then it is universal. Now third is it is powerful, and fourth is it is giving exact results. So these are the merits of deductive methods. But there are some demerits as well of deductive method. So in the next slide we will going to discuss it, the demerits of deductive method. So these are some of the demerits of deductive methods. So first is unrealistic assumption. Every hypothesis is based on set of assumptions. As we already discussed, this is the second step of a deductive method. We need to formulate the assumptions. So every hypothesis, which is the third step, is based on the set of assumptions. So when a hypothesis is tested, assumptions are indirectly tested by comparing their implications with facts. But when facts are wrong, the theory based on the tested hypothesis, the assumptions are also indirectly wrong. So deduction depends upon the nature of assumptions. So as we already discussed, that hypothesis is based on assumptions, and if assumptions are wrong, that concludes that the hypothesis we are taken is also wrong. So basically, we need to stress more on the assumptions we are taken. Not universally applicable. Often the conclusions derived from deductive reasoning are not applicable universally because the premises from which they are deduced may not hold good at all time and places. So basically, the assumptions are taken from the economist, and they are different from person to person. If a person takes uh, A and B assumptions for solving a problem, and second person takes C and D assumptions for the same problem, then they are getting the different result for the same problem. So that's why it's the deduction we get at the end are not good at all times and places. So it is dependent on the assumption, and it depends on the individual, how the person takes the assumptions for solving a particular problem. The third demerit is abstract method. So the deductive method is highly abstract and requires great skills in drawing inferences for various premises. As we already see, due to the complexity of certain economic problems, it becomes difficult to apply this method even at the hands of expert researchers. So as we take the assumptions by ourselves, so it becomes sometimes it becomes very complex. So even the expert researcher cannot deal with it. So because it is the abstract method. So these are some of the demerits of deductive methods. So first is unrealistic assumption. Next is not universally applicable because it depends on person to person. And the third is abstract method. We need to have great skill in drawing conclusions from the premises. It not the task of a naive person. You need to be an expert in logic for for deriving conclusions from the premises. So these are some of the demerits of deductive method. Now moving on to the next slide. Now the next topic is inductive method. Now induction is the process of reasoning from a part to the whole, from particulars to generals, and from individual to the universal. So its definition is just opposite to the deductive method. So here we are moving from particular to the general concept and from individual to the universal concept. So from studying a person's life, we can conclude the all humans life. So inductive method is based on this. For example of an inductive method is, the coin I pulled from the bag is of rupee 2. Second coin is of rupees 2. A third coin from the bag is of rupees 2. Therefore, all the coins in the bag are of rupees 2. So, on drawing only 3 coins from the bag, if a bag is full of coins, I conclude that the bag is full of coins of rupees 2. So basically it deals from particular to general. So so this is the difference in the definition of deductive method and inductive method. So Batten, the economist, described it as an ascending process from or ascending or the upward process in which facts are collected, arranged, and then general conclusions are drawn. So this is the definition of inductive method. It is an ascending process, whereas the deductive method is a descending process. So the next is inductive method expects the economist to first collect material, draw generalization, and verify the conclusions by applying them to subsequent events. So this is the definition and the example of inductive method. Now moving on to the next slide. Now the steps of inductive method. So the first step is the problem. In order to arrive at a generalization concerning an economic phenomena, the problem should be properly selected and clearly stated. So this is same with the deductive method as well. So here also the problem finds the first step. The second step is data. The second step is collection, enumeration, classification. So these are the various ways to collect the data. Collection, enumeration, classification, and analysis of data by using appropriate statistical technique. So here also we take the statistical technique for collection, enumeration, classification, and analysis of data. The third step is observation. So data are used to make observation about particular facts concerning the problem. So we need to observe the particular facts with related to data. The fourth step is generalization. So based on our observation, uh, generalization is logically derived, which establishes a general truth from particular facts. As we already discussed in the example, if we draw 3 coins of rupees 2, so we conclude that all the coins in the bag are of rupees 2. So we establish a general truth from particular fact. So these are all the steps which are followed by the inductive method. All of you are getting it? Just write in the chat box. All of you are getting it? Just write yes or no in the chat box. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. Then we need to discuss some of the merits of inductive method. So first is realistic. So the inductive method is realistic because it is based on facts and explains them as they actually are. It is concrete and synthetic because it deals with the subject as a whole and does not divide it into component parts artificially. As as you know that we break the big problem into sub problems in the case of deductive method, but in the case of inductive method it treats the subject as a whole and does not divide it into component parts artificially. So this method is much more realistic. The second merit is future inquiries. Induction helps in future inquiries by discovering and providing general principles. Induction helps future investigations. Once a generalization is established, it becomes the starting point of future inquiries. So, future inquiries is the second merit of inductive method. Now, moving on to the next slide. Now, third merit is statistical method. The inductive method makes use of statistical method. This has made significant improvement in the application of induction for analyzing economic problems of wide range. So in particular, the problems of data collection of government and private agencies on macro variables like national income, general prices, consumptions, saving, total employment, etc. So these problems are based on statistical method. So here we need to follow the inductive method in solving these problems. The fourth merit is dynamic. So the inductive method is dynamic. In this, changing economic phenomena can be analyzed on the basis of experiences, conclusions can be drawn, and appropriate remedial measures can be taken. So this is the a dynamic method. It changes from time to time. Whereas deductive method is basically the static method and the inductive method is of dynamic nature. So these are some of the merits of inductive method. Now in the next slide we will going to discuss some of the demerits of inductive method. Now the first demerit is misinterpretation of data. So induction relies on statistical numbers for analysis that can be misused and misinterpreted when the assumptions which are required for their use are forgotten. So so the data we are taken are based on some assumptions. If that assumptions are misused and misinterpreted, then the conclusion we are drawn from the inductive method is wrong. So we need to remember the assumptions for which purpose we are taken such assumptions. The second demerit is uncertain conclusions. So Balding points out that statistical information can only give us propositions whose truth is more or less probable. It can never give us certainty. As you know that in the case of statistics, as you already studied some topics of study of statistics like the mean, mode, median, and standard deviation, variance in your I think in 11th or 12th class mathematics, in in topics like correlation and regression, where these topics are much more predominant. So you can see that in statistics there is some some uncertainty in the exact answer. Your answer must deviate from plus minus zero point 0.5 to 1 on the scale of 0.5 to 1 scale. So that is how it gives uncertain conclusion. So this the Baldwin said that statistical information can only give us propositions whose truth is more or less probable. It can never give us certainty. So the answer we got is in the terms of numerical value. So it can be somewhat zero point 0.5 to 1 scale differ uh, from person to person. So that's why uncertain conclusion is there, and it is one of the demerit of inductive method. Now moving on to the next slide. Lack correctness. So definitions, sources, and methods used in statistical analysis differ from investigator to investigator, even for the same problem. As for instance, in case of national income accounts, thus statistical techniques less concreteness. So this is as we already discussed it. So this is the third point, lack concreteness, which is the drawback of statistical analysis. Costly method. The inductive method is not only time consuming but also costly. It involves detailed and painstaking processes of collection, classification, analysis, and interpretation of data on the part of trained and expert investigators and analysts. So this method is very costly than deductive method. So these are the four demerits of inductive method. Now moving forward to the next slide. So this is the diagram by which you can easily understand the differences between deductive and inductive method. As you can see, this is the deductive side, this is the deductive side, and this is the inductive side. As you can see that deduction is a descending process. So you can see that deduction is a descending process. So as you can see, the first is there is a theory is there. In the first step, theory is there. Then we need to draw hypothesis, and based on this hypothesis, we can draw some observation, and from these observations, confirmation is there. The hypothesis is correct or not. So this is the descending process. Whereas induction is a ascending process. So here you can see that first we have some observation, and based on these observation we can draw some patterns. Based on these patterns, some hypothesis is taken, and after the hypothesis, theory has been developed. So this is the ascending process. From ascending or upward process, whereas the deduction is a descending process or the downward process. So you can clearly differentiate between the deduction and inductive method by using this diagram. You need to remember it. Now moving on to the next slide. I will give you this, I will share these notes to you on your Google Classroom subject code. Now these are the points of differences. Now first is, all of you clearly see the slide, this slide or not? Now you can see it clearly. Now first is the comparison between deductive method and inductive method. Now in the first difference is the deductive method, also known as abstract, analytical, and priori method. whereas the inductive method is also known as historical, empirical, and posteriori method. So you will study the priori and posteriori method in your data structure and algorithm subject. The next difference is the deductive method ranges from general to particular analysis, whereas the inductive method ranges from particular to general analysis. The third difference is there. The deductive method based on abstract reasoning and not on facts, whereas in case of inductive method, actual facts are collected, arranged, and then general conclusions are drawn. The fourth point is, in the case of deductive method, it uses static approach, whereas inductive method uses dynamic approach. In the fifth difference is, in the case of deductive method, it is a downward process. As we already see in the previous slide, it is a downward process of thought and leads to useful results. Whereas in the case of inductive method, it is an upward process of thought and leads to principles. So these are some of the important differences between deductive method and inductive method. Now moving on to the next slide. Now this is the last slide, the conclusion. So this analysis reveals that independently neither deduction nor induction is helpful in scientific inquiry. In reality, both deduction and induction are related to each other because of some facts. They are the two forms of logic that are complementary and correlative and helps establish the truth. So these are the two forms of logic that are complementary in nature and correlative that helps establish the truth. So both of them are based on logic and both of them establishes the truth. But the method of establishing the truth is different in both the approaches. So Marshall, according to the Marshall economist, also supported the complementary nature of two methods when he quoted induction and deduction are both needed for scientific thoughts as the right and left foot are needed for walking. So he compares the induction and deduction as the left and right foot for needed for walking. So then Marshall stressed the need and use of integrating these methods. So we cannot we cannot break or we cannot separate these two methods. So we need to integrate these two methods. So thus, true progress in economic inquiries can be made by a wise combination of deduction and inductive method. So, with our study, with observations and experiment, we came across that after some experience, we came across that in which issues deductive method can be used and in which method inductive method can be used, and there are some issues in which both the methods can be used. So this is basically the conclusion that we cannot deny one method with respect to other because both are having some specific property which is different from the other. So as stated by the Marshall, so these two methods are the left and right foot which are needed for walking. So he so we need to integrate these method for getting the correct result. So this is all about deductive and inductive methods of economics. So thank you very much. So this is all for today's topic. All of you understand it? I will share slides to you in the Doodle classroom subject code. All of you understand it? Just write yes or no in the chat box. Okay. So that's all for today. In the next class, we will going to discuss to discuss the next topic of Unit 1. So now you can leave the meeting.